Hi, I'm Dr. Jo'Anne Langham, and today we will be talking about ways of analysing and documenting your research so that it is useful for design. Now you have all of the data collected through various user research techniques. How do you make sense of it? And also, how do you use it to design? Once we have completed our field studies, observations, or other user research technique, we can analyse our observations through the power of some of the design tools, such as affinity diagramming. This is then translated into a workflow diagram or content map. The information we gather helps us in setting goals for the design and enables us to write scenarios with which guide the ideation phase of design and also testing of any prototypes. There are several ways to look at the data you have collected. For qualitative data, you can analyse the literal means of what you saw, heard, or felt. You can interpret what you've observed, and you must also understand what your role was and the impact that you had on the data gathering process. The sorts of things that you will be looking at to help you understand the current state and what the new design future should be will be some of the following questions or viewpoints. Observe, experience, and review all parts of the experience. Document the problem and the critical elements. Who are the actors or the users? What are the fail points and why? What are the goals of the stakeholders? What are the goals of the actors or users? And what are the factors of context that are influencing the outcome? One of the simplest ways to help you and also others who are involved in the design process understand the research is the use of activity scenarios. Activity scenarios are an extremely powerful tool and are used at many points in the design method to ensure that we are constantly mapping our developing design against real-world usage. Scenarios are an important, if not essential, tool in the DIE model. Scenarios are used to capture and translate the data you uncover during research with users and around the context. It is also a really effective way to demonstrate the importance of the behaviours of users and also incorporate context into the design. Scenarios are very different to personas. A scenario is a story or narrative, a thought experiment that is used to help you explore the set of tasks and interactions required for your design. A good use scenario does a number of things. First of all, it describes the user's goals and motivations, describes a specific task or tasks that need to be accomplished, describes some of their interaction with enough detail to make it compelling, but not so much detail as to be overwhelming, provides a shared understanding for everyone on your team about what a user might want to do and how they might do it, helps you construct the sequence of events that are necessary to address your user interface, and it can be sketchy as long as it provokes ideas and discussion. A persona, also known as an archetypal user, is an invented person that you use to represent a type of user in your scenario. A persona can be based on a real person or a set of real people. The idea is to make up personas to enable you to talk concretely about them as your users of whatever tool or design you are building. For example, if I were designing a music purchase interface, I might create 3 personas: Joe, Mary, and Paul. These tools have different uses in the design process. You may decide you review the data through coding and analysing the text. To do this, you will create thematic or other types of codes and then apply them to the data using a number of potential methods. The one shown here is a tool called MaxQDA. Other good tools include NVivo or Leximancer. Affinity diagramming is a way of quickly understanding and analysing data gathered either individually or in groups, and enables a rapid visualisation of the data and the categories for all of the researchers or designers involved. Quantitative data is often not used until later in the design process and may be used to understand the size of a segment or the attributes of a population. Many people misuse quantitative data and apply quantitative methods to try to understand a qualitative question. There are two types of quantitative variables, qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative variables may be nominal or ordinal and provide categorical data. For example, the use of a Likert scale. Quantitative data can be measured as an interval or a ratio and will produce discrete or continuous data, such as an exact weight. Quantitative data is analysed using statistics. There are a variety of methods along with the basic statistical techniques exploring frequencies and descriptives. There is also comparison of means or analyse, factor analysis, regression, and structural equation modelling. When using a mixed methods research approach, you may use a variety of the qualitative and quantitative techniques for triangulation of data, comparisons, or to understand correlations. Use caution when drawing conclusions about the results. Unless you have used the appropriate techniques and understand the behaviour of your research subjects, you may be falsely attributing causality to something that has nothing to do with what you thought it was. It may actually be some other outside factor.